Something massive is happening in the world of Apple right now. And if you're a creative professional or a tech enthusiast, you need to stop what you are doing and listen closely. We are standing on the edge of a new era for the MacBook Pro. The rumors are flying, the leaks are spilling out, and all signs point to one thing. The M5 Max is coming. And it is not just a small update. It looks like it is going to be an absolute monster. This chip is set to be the most powerful silicon ever put inside a laptop. The best part is that you might not even have to wait long to see it. We are talking about a release that could happen in a matter of days. Today, we're going to break down every single leak, every rumor, and every shred of evidence we have about this machine. We're going to look at the history, the benchmarks, the specs, and even the release date clues hidden in Apple's own software. This is the ultimate guide to the M5 Max MacBook Pro. But before we get lost in the hype of the future, we need to understand the past. We need to look at where we are coming from to understand just how big of a jump this is going to be. Let's rewind the clock slightly. Think back to the end of 2024. That was when Apple dropped the M4 Max. It was released alongside the M4 Pro and the standard M4 chip. When that happened, the tech world was genuinely impressed. It wasn't just a small step forward. It was a leap. When we compare the M4 generation to the M3, or even the jump from M1 to M2, the M4 stood out. It was a significant moment for Apple Silicon. We saw huge boosts across the board. The CPU got faster. The GPU got much more capable. Even the Neural Engine, or NPU, saw massive improvements for AI tasks. And somehow, despite all that extra power, the battery life actually got better in some models. It was a masterclass in efficiency. That is the legacy that the M5 Max has to live up to. And judging by what we have seen so far from the M5 generation, it is going to crush it. The M5 journey has already started, and it has started strong. Toward the end of 2025, we got our first taste of this new architecture. We saw the second-generation Vision Pro. We saw the new iPad Pro with the M5 chip. And, of course, we got the baseline MacBook Pro with the standard M5 chip. This gave us the blueprint. It gave us the clues we needed to predict the power of the Max chip. When we analyzed the base M5 chip, we noticed something very interesting. The CPU performance boost was solid, sitting at around 15% compared to the previous generation. That is a respectable increase. It makes everything feel snappier and faster. But the real story, the headline feature, was the graphics. The GPU got a massive boost. We saw a jump of up to 45% in graphics performance compared to the M4. That is almost unheard of in a single generation update without adding more cores. That is the crazy part. Apple achieved this massive 45% jump without increasing the core count on the base chip. They kept the same number of cores for the CPU, the NPU, and the GPU, yet they squeezed out nearly 50% more graphical power. That is engineering magic. Now, why does this matter for the M5 Max? It matters because Apple operates on a pattern. If they can get that kind of performance gain on the base chip without adding cores, imagine what happens when they do add cores. And they almost always add cores to the high-end chips. History tells us that with every new generation of the Pro and Max chips, Apple likes to boost the core count. They give us more lanes on the highway. This is where things get really exciting for the M5 Max. Let's look at the current M4 Max for a second. Right now, if you go to the Apple website, you can configure an M4 Max with a 14-core CPU or a 16-core CPU. That is a lot of power. Usually, 4 of those are high-efficiency cores for background tasks, and the rest are high-performance cores for the heavy lifting. But leaks suggest the M5 Max is going to push this even further. The rumors are pointing to another increase in the core count. We are likely looking at an increase of 2 additional cores for the CPU. That means the top-tier, fully loaded version of the M5 Max could come with an 18-core CPU. Just let that sink in for a second. An 18-core CPU in a laptop. Out of those 18 cores, we expect 14 of them to be performance cores. These are the cores that chew through video rendering, code compiling, and 3D modeling. This is going to be absolutely amazing for anyone who relies on multi-core performance. If you're a video editor or a developer, this is the dream. So what does this actually look like in terms of numbers? We have done some calculations. We have used AI models and historical data to predict the benchmark scores. The results are mind-blowing. If we look at Geekbench, which is the standard for measuring raw processor speed, the potential is off the charts. With that full-fat 18-core M5 Max, we could be looking at a multi-core score of nearly 33,000. To put that in perspective, that rivals high-end desktop workstations. Obviously, these are predictions. It might be 31,000. It might even go as high as 34,000. But the ballpark is there. We're looking at a machine that breaks the 30,000 barrier with ease. This is going to be a game changer for heavy workflows. If Apple decides to give us those 2 extra cores, combined with the architectural improvements we already saw in the base M5, the CPU performance is going to be untouchable. But we can't talk about the M5 Max without talking about graphics. Remember that 45% boost we saw in the base model? Now apply that scaling to the Max chip. The GPU potential here is frankly ridiculous. With the current M4 Max, the top-spec version comes with a 40-core GPU. It is already a beast for gaming and rendering. But for the M5 Max, we are expecting another core bump. It is highly likely we will see this go up to 42 cores. 2 extra cores might not sound like a lot, but when you combine that with a new architecture that is already 45% faster per core, the math gets scary. The benchmarking scores are going to be unbelievable. We are projecting a Geekbench metal score of around 220,000. Some leakers and analysts are even more optimistic. They are saying it could hit 250,000. If we hit 250,000 in a laptop GPU, we are entering a territory where the line between a laptop and a desktop completely disappears. Whether you're doing complex 3D animation, training AI models locally, or just playing the latest AAA games, this machine is going to fly. The difference between the M4 Max and the M5 Max in graphics is going to be shocking. It is going to be absolutely outstanding. Now, I know all this talk about specs and benchmarks is exciting, but I want to take a quick break to talk about something equally exciting for you guys watching right now. We have a massive channel giveaway happening. We're giving away an iPhone 17 Pro Max. This is the big one. We have finally made it to this point. I'm going to be giving this phone to one lucky subscriber on January 24th, this coming Saturday. If you're new here, do not worry. You can still enter. It is incredibly simple. All you have to do is 2 things. First, go to the comment section right now and tell me what piece of tech gear you're hoping to get before the end of 2026. Just drop a comment below. Second, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell turned on. We're going to be doing a live stream on Saturday with more details and the actual giveaway. You do not want to miss that. Also, a quick public service announcement. Please be careful in the comments. There are still scammers impersonating me, asking you to message them on WhatsApp or Telegram. I will never do that. Please ignore them and report them. Stay safe out there. Okay, let's get back to the MacBook Pro. We have covered the power, but what about the look? What about the design? This is a question I get asked all the time. Is the M5 Max MacBook Pro going to look different? Is it going to be thinner? Is it going to come in new colors? Well, I have to be honest with you. If you were expecting a total redesign, you might be disappointed. The leaks suggest that the design is going to stay exactly the same. We are not expecting any changes to the chassis. It is unlikely that the M5 Max MacBook Pro will change its shape or size whatsoever. Apple seems to be sticking with the current design language. However, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. The current design is excellent. It has great airflow, a great keyboard, and a solid build. But I know some of you are waiting for the next big thing. You are waiting for the OLED display. You are waiting for the ultra-thin design. You are waiting for the vapor chamber cooling systems. If that is what you want, you're going to have to be patient. The rumors indicate that the major redesign, the one with the OLED screen and thinner body, is slated for the next generation. That is likely coming in 2027. So, if you really want that OLED screen, you have to wait another year. For now, the M5 Max is going to stick with the mini LED screen. We have had this screen tech since 2021. It is still beautiful. It is bright, it has great contrast, and it is pro level. But it is not OLED. The ports are likely going to remain the same as well. We will still see Thunderbolt 5 ports on the side. We aren't expecting any speed increases there, mostly because Thunderbolt 5 is already incredibly fast and future-proof. Battery life is another area where we expect stability. Even with the massive power increase, the battery life will likely stay around the same as the M4 Max. This is actually a win. Usually, when you add this much power, battery life takes a hit. If Apple can maintain the current battery life while boosting performance by 30 or 40%, that is a victory. So, whether you pick the 14-inch model or the 16-inch model, you can expect familiar ergonomics, a familiar screen, and familiar battery performance. The change is all on the inside. It is a sleeper build. It looks the same, but it runs like a rocket. So, that brings us to the million-dollar question. When can you buy it? When is the release date? If you have your credit card ready, I have good news. It looks like the release is imminent. It could happen any day now. We have been tracking the rumors for months. Originally, leaks said we would get a new MacBook Pro in the early part of 2026. Well, look at the calendar. We are in the early part of 2026. That window is open right now. But we don't just have vague rumors anymore. We have breadcrumbs. We have clues that Apple has left behind. One of the biggest clues is the new software bundle Apple is launching. Have you heard about the new Creator Studio? This is a new pack from Apple. It is a subscription service that bundles high-end creative apps. It gives you things like Pixelmator, Final Cut Pro, Logic Pro, and all the productivity apps like Pages, Keynote, and Numbers. It also includes new AI abilities integrated into these apps. This new service is rolling out on January 28th. Now, think about Apple's strategy. Why would they launch a massive new suite of creative software without the hardware to run it best? It makes perfect sense for Apple to announce the new MacBook Pros just a day or so before that software launch. They want the hardware and the software to land at the same time. Alternatively, they could make the announcement a week later. Apple has done that before. They launch the software, get everyone excited, and then drop the new devices a week later to keep the momentum going. Either way, the timing of the Creator Studio launch is a huge indicator. There's another clue, and it is hidden in the operating system. We need to look at macOS. Right now, we are on macOS 26.2, but macOS 26.3 is currently in beta testing. This update is on target to be released at the end of January or the beginning of February. Often, when Apple releases a new computer, it ships with a specific version of macOS that supports the new hardware. It is very possible that Apple is timing the release of the M5 Max and M5 Pro MacBook Pros to coincide with macOS 26.3. They could ship these machines with a new OS straight out of the box. This has happened in the past. It is a classic Apple move. They bring out the new software update, and literally a day before or after, the new MacBook Pros appear on the store. When you combine all these factors, the early 2026 rumors, the January 28th Creator Studio launch, and the imminent arrival of macOS 26.3, it paints a very clear picture. The wait is almost over. I am confident in saying that within the next couple of weeks, we are going to see these new machines officially announced. The press releases are probably being written right now. The website is probably being updated on a staging server somewhere in Cupertino. This is happening. So, here's my honest opinion on this product. This is going to be an incredible machine. If you're sitting on an M1 or an M2 MacBook Pro, this is the upgrade you have been waiting for. The jump in performance is going to be noticeable in every single thing you do. The graphical power alone makes it worth it if you work in visual media. However, if you have an M4 Max, you probably don't need to rush out and buy this. The M4 is still amazing. But for everyone else, the M5 Max is shaping up to be the ultimate laptop. It refines everything. It maximizes the current design. It pushes the silicon to its absolute limit. It is a boring update on the outside, but a revolutionary one on the inside. And sometimes, those are the best kinds of updates. You get a proven, reliable chassis with the heart of a supercomputer. I am genuinely excited to see the real-world benchmarks once we get our hands on this unit. I want to see if it hits that 250,000 score. I want to see if the battery holds up. This is a great time to be a Mac user. But I want to hear from you. Are you excited for these new MacBook Pros? Is the performance jump enough to make you upgrade? Or are you going to hold onto your wallet and wait another year for the OLED redesign? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read all of them, and I love seeing your perspectives. If you enjoyed this deep dive and you want to stay ahead of the curve with the latest Apple news, reviews, and comparisons, please do me a huge favor. Hit that like button. It really helps the video reach more people. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends. Don't forget to hit that bell icon so you never miss an upload or a giveaway update. Until next time, take care, and I will see you really soon. Bye-bye.